What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the channel. Well, today you're in for a treat because I'm joined by your friend Andy. How you doing, Andy?
Hello, hobbyist miner. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. It is Saturday. We are a week away from Mining Disrupt. I'm excited I get to see this guy again in person, which is always a joy. And for some quick context, it's March 15th. So if we chat about some things, some numbers, some situations, and then a week later this video releases and you're like, what the heck? That's probably why.
Yes, indeed.
So today's topic is one that is very opinionated, right? There's no science to this. There's no pure definition to this. It's really just our perspective, and love to hear your perspective. So please comment down below as we get into this. But today we're going to talk about, are we in a bull market? Or bull run, should I say, or are we in a bear market? And so I'd love to throw this over to you, Andy, and get kind of just your thoughts, feelings, and opinion. I think to lead into this, how many cycles have you been a part of so far?
When I first started in crypto, if you count that, then it's more. But I was actually paying attention and in the trenches. This is my third full cycle.
Okay. And where do you think we are right now, based off of just your experience and your perspective? Thank you to today's video sponsor, ASICmarketplace.com. If you're in the market for the top ASIC miners, look no further than ASICmarketplace.com. They have some of the best miners on the market in 2025. To name just a few, Bitmain Antminer L9 and L7, the AlphaPex DG1+, the Canon Avalon A15 XP, and many more. And home miners, ASICmarketplace.com has you covered as well. The AlphaPex DG Home 1, the Bombax EZ100C, the Ice River AL2 Lite, and many more. Finally, 3 big reasons I like ASICmarketplace.com. First, the price on their website is to your door. Shipping and import tax is included in the price. Second, they accept cryptocurrency as a payment method. And third, I've been working with them for over 2 years and never had a bad experience buying from ASICmarketplace.com. Go check out ASICmarketplace.com today and use my discount code to save $100 at checkout.
Well, you said, the way I'm feeling and my opinion, but this is fact, what I'm about to say. So this is just where we are and what's happening. So yeah, that is the disclaimer, right? Like anytime anybody says anything about this market, no matter how smart they are and how savvy they are, they're guessing. No one knows the future. We don't know what next week is going to be like, much less next year, right? As we stand right now, though, we had maybe shorter term all-time high of Bitcoin of 109,000. And then Bitcoin did just hit 77,000 a couple days ago. And so that fall is like 25 to 30%. And based on that, by using the traditional market definition of a bear market, that's when one of the indices, one of the indexes, has a sustained drop of over 20%. So by that metric, yes, we're in a bear market. But, it depends on, is it a prolonged bear market? Is it going to be sustained? Was that truly the all-time high of, Bitcoin? Was it 109,000? We had a lot of fun together. That was the end of it. Now we're in a sustained bear market. We're waiting for the next big bull run in like a couple of years. That I don't believe, because if so, this is the first cycle that's operated like this. If you map this against 2017, well, then we still have a long way to go before we get to the peak bull market. If you map this against 2021, the chart kind of looks like we had that first peaking at like 64,000 before we dropped almost 60% to just under $30,000 over the span of like 3 or 4 months before we went to a new all-time high of 69,000. And then we had an amazing multi-month alt season after that. So there's multiple markets I think this could map to, and you can be generous with mapping it to whichever one you think. But I think it's far too early to call the bull run over. I think what we're seeing now, sure, you could define it as a bear market if you want, but the very minimum, it's a needed and obvious correction. Everything that goes up very quickly must, have some correction, must come down at some point, at least to some percentage before it goes back up. Corrections and drops in crypto are very healthy. It shakes out all the over-leveraged capital. It shakes out the weak hands. It encourages the people who are, have a lot of conviction, a lot of faith, and a lot of capital to deploy to come back into the market or to stay in the market. And if you look at the charts, it's like right now, most of the people who've been shaken out are all people who are very newbie. They bought at all-time highs. They watched it drop to 70-something thousand. They thought the world was over. They sold. They took losses. Most of the people who are OGs or most people who've been for multiple cycles are still here. We're still here, right?
That's right. 100%. Yeah, I do agree with you there. What I am finding, and when I speak with individuals about this too, is like, I'm going to be the first one, and many may agree or may disagree, and that's fine. That's our perspective, is that I truly do believe this bull run will be astronomically different than the last one and the one before this. And there's a lot of traditionalists out there that are like, no, it maps each other identically. I mean, there's some people even that are like, hey, the 4-year cycle's gone based off of just the fact of where we are. And so I think it all is really perspective. I will say, though, however, if you look at the last few bull runs, last two, let's say, versus where we are now, we are in full adoption mode in the current state of things now. That didn't exist last bull run. We have things like ETFs. I mean, think over the last year, ETFs have been adopted into things. We've gone from regardless of where you sit on the political aisle, we've gone from an administration and the SEC that was very anti-crypto. I think we can purely put that out there. To now we're seeing a complete flip side. I mean, we just had a crypto summit and it being fully embraced. So with that being said, where we were in the last bull run, I mean, yeah, people kind of heard of Bitcoin, and now it's an everyday thing. You can't turn on the news without Bitcoin being mentioned, just like it would be with the S&P 500 being mentioned on where it was at today. So that being said, when I look at things, I very much tell people, I truly believe we're in a bull run. That's my perspective, my opinion. But I do feel this bull run will be very different than the last. And I think we're starting to see that more and more with, like, just as you had said, like, we had a massive dip, where we're at right now. Some may define that as like, wow, we just took a step back into a bear market. But for those of us that have been in this, and we'll call it rolling with the punches over the last 2 years or so, we see a dip and we see it as a buying opportunity. We don't see it as like, oh man, we're going back into shelter mode here. And we look at it as an opportunity to buy up. And then we expect the pump to come any day now. I mean, they kind of come and go so loosely. So based off of that, Andy, what are your thoughts on altcoin seasons? And if you still feel we're going to get this bull run?
Yep. So first, let me reply to what you just said, because
please jump in.
Fully agree. But I also think perspective, zoomed out perspective is required. Mm-hmm. Are we in adoption mode, full on adoption mode compared to past cycles? Yes, absolutely. ETFs were but a twinkle of the eye of, prospective investors in previous cycles. We were all hoping for them. We saw them filed. They were all denied. This is the first cycle where we've had something like that, where anybody practically with almost any brokerage account can have, exposure to Bitcoin. It's a paper Bitcoin, but it's, as close as anybody has had access to. That's first time we've ever had that in a cycle. That is full on adoption. Hearing about it in the news cycle, hearing about it from the president and political side, that's all pretty new stuff. However, perspective again. Last cycle we peaked out at $3 trillion in total market capitalization. This cycle we've almost hit 4, but now we're back down just under 3. And I'm looking at right now, Microsoft is 2.8 trillion, Nvidia is 2.9 trillion, Apple's 3.2 trillion, gold is $20 trillion in total market capitalization. So on one hand, yeah, I absolutely agree, full on adoption mode. On the other hand, like, if we're here now, we are so incredibly early. This is such a baby asset. It really is inconsequential in the big scheme of things, like on a global scale right now. But because of the stuff you just mentioned, I think we're moving towards where that is no longer the case, where it becomes a more substantive part of our everyday, life and the economy and global economics and all that good stuff. So, rolling into alt season, do I think we'll still have one? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a million different people who are all calling for no more alt season or whatever, and I feel like they're either inexperienced, they've been burned by this cycle because it didn't go the way we all expected it to. With change of administration, people expected things just up only, and well, that didn't happen, did it? It was up only until the change of administration, and then it was down only. There's expectations, and then what really happened, and so some people got burned, or they just don't have enough experience to know what comes next. And then there's also the argument of, well, last cycle, and especially the cycle before that, there were hundreds, or maybe there were thousands of altcoins, and now we've got millions of just meme coins. So certainly, you can't pick winners, and they're not going to go up. It's just there's diluted capital across the board. And so a couple of things I'll say to that. One, I don't buy that for a second. Like, the cream always rises to the top. Like you can have a whole bunch of noise, and people are still going to find signal amongst that noise. You can have millions of meme coins, but they all just go to zero. There's nothing there. They have a flash in a pan, they're over, and then capital moves somewhere else. But capital will find its way to utility and real-world applications and real teams and prospective ideas and products. That's going to happen again, and there is only thousands, maybe truly hundreds if you get down to who is out there actually doing real stuff, real revenue, real companies, that type of stuff. So I believe the cream will rise to the top. I believe that Bitcoin will have its heyday again. 108,000 or whatever was not the top. We will go higher. After it's had its heyday, after we've had another new all-time high, after this full pandemonium just surrounding Bitcoin, that cools off, and then money will go, what's next? I want to make those big gains. I miss Bitcoin. What didn't I miss? Well, everyone's going to look at everything that is considerably cheaper, undervalued, for whatever lens they view it through, and that's the world of altcoins. We have Bitcoin, we have everything else. And so I think an alt season is inevitable. I think we have to go through some pain before we get there. I think Bitcoin has to go maybe through some more pain before we get there. Or, you watch this in a month and we're already there, and we're all, driving Lamborghinis to and from, the coffee shop every day. I don't know. But either way, I have full confidence that we're going to see that again. Just like you said, I think this cycle might be a little bit different when the exact timing of it happens.
Yeah, no, really good point. I think something you alluded to earlier about people recently feeling burned. A lot of these people are very new. I'm seeing even a whole new group of people coming in the last 3 months, when we had a big pump with Dogecoin, when everything was pumping back in December time period, January time period, February, and now they're in March, and they're like, wait, what? They're very concerned, and I'm seeing this. And when I think back to the last bull run, a lot of new people coming in were technologists. They were people that liked to tinker, that wanted to get into mining. That was the thing, right? That's what kind of I connect it with. Dogecoin, very popular, things like that. Ethereum was there, Dogecoin was there. Okay, so now jumping ahead, you actually hit the nail on the head here, where talking about meme coins. Now I'm seeing people enter the space riding the meme coin train. They've entered in because, now granted, we've seen some political based coins come out as well. Trump, Melania coins, some of these other coins out there, but just a lot of even meme coins before that, where I've had even relatives oh, have you heard of this coin? And I'm not real, maybe, but not really. Oh, I heard it. All these meme coins coming in, but I love the way that you put it, where it's just a quick flash of profit and it's gone. And that's the thing. What is occurring is we're seeing these new people come in, they ride in on a meme coin, then they start to look at the space and they get burned all in 3 months. And it's holy cow. And so now they're oh man, they're Debbie Downers. They're negative about the market, where others of us are sitting around it's been 3 months, dude. It dipped. Great. I got some capital. I'm going to invest back into the market and, wait for that pump again. So it's wild to look at the 2 cycles, just even the last one and this one, and look at kind of the trend of bringing people into the space.
Yeah. Whenever we have new people come into the space, these are fresh people who, this is their first exposure to crypto. This is their first exposure to how it all works. And it's really easy as a new person to just totally get burned out with crypto because it is so fast moving. It's so volatile. And I found that most people capitulate, give up, exit the space because They just don't have the first clue about what they actually bought. They had this expectation of what they were buying. Maybe if it's a meme coin, it's like, I'm going to get rich tomorrow. These all go up. Whenever you hear about one, if you buy it, it immediately goes up, and that's just not true. If you did manage to buy Bitcoin or something, you didn't truly know what it was or how the technology works or why you're buying it. You just bought it because people told you you should be buying it. And this goes for stocks and stuff too, but just not knowing what you bought, or like, again, having those crazy expectations, but also just not having enough time in the cycle. Maybe you haven't been through as many cycles as I have, but just the amount of time you've been in the space, I mean, you tell me, like, are you better equipped now to experience the ups and downs, the roller coaster, than you were when you first started? And the answer is obviously yes. Like, the longer you are here, the longer you see how high it can go and how low it can go, and you come to terms with that without, giving up and throwing in the towel and leaving it for, swearing it off forever, the better you're equipped for future changes just like that. So I see a 30% drop in Bitcoin. I'm like, who cares? Why is this? Why are we talking about this? Like, who cares about this? Like, let's just move on. Let's get to the future. So yeah, people just, get burned because they come in for all the wrong reasons. And, that's the place where it's like, okay, if you came in, you're excited about this, just spend some time trying to understand what exactly this space is, and what the opportunity is. And also, my opinion, if you're getting into altcoins primarily, well, then just look at them for what they are. They're oftentimes exciting startups and opportunities and possibilities. But for me, they're just kind of a means to an end. I want to watch all those climb, and they do have some fundamentals. I want to watch them go up, and I want to make money, and I want to take that money, and I want to get more Bitcoin. And I just rinse, repeat from cycle to cycle. And maybe some of those alts stick around. Well, great. When we get to a bear market and they're depressed 95% in price, buy them up again and ride that wave yet again. So some of those like fundamentals of the trade within the cycle of crypto, I think, are still here. I'm still expecting them. You probably feel the same way, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thinking back, something you had mentioned about just like Bitcoin dropping 30%, it makes me really think back to a lot of people that have stepped into this space over the last year who have come from the traditional investing side of the world. And they come into this and they think they are equipped, they have the tools, the experience, and the world of traditional stocks and investing, stepping into crypto, is a world of difference. You go from that to this, a 30% drop in Microsoft or Nvidia or Apple is massive. A 30% drop to us is like, oh, dang, okay, that's fine. No big deal. I have confidence it's going to go back up and I'm going to reinvest. And so the difference is that experience, I think, is what you had mentioned of just like, man, the longer you're in this, the more comfortable you feel when a dip occurs or when a massive pump occurs. And, you kind of get in, you get out appropriately, you take profits when you really need to, you don't hold too long. A lot of those things just come with time. And so for anyone just watching this, new to that space, but coming over from the financial field, spend more time in it because it is not going to react the same. And this is why they say the cryptocurrency is volatile, because it puts traditional investing, I feel like behind it very, very quickly.
Well, as we record this, Tesla is down like 15%, or maybe it's 20% from its all-time highs. And there are literally news articles saying that Tesla is over, that the company is in turmoil, it's going to collapse. And maybe that's true, I don't know. But the stock market, if the S&P drops 5% in a day, people lose their minds. 5% is, it happens hourly in crypto.
It's an afternoon. It's an afternoon.
Yeah. So yeah, there is that shift. But also, yeah, it's like volatility is often hawked by the traditional investing world, traditional personal finance world, as a bad thing. And I just want to throw my opinion out there and say that that is such a backwards way to view volatility. Volatility is opportunity. If you have no volatility, you have a stable asset, and there's no room for growth there. So now, how much volatility you want to take on, that is a different topic for a different video. But with great volatility comes great opportunity. down and up. But in the crypto world, we want to go up. We want those big swings. We need big volatility. And two, volatility is simply, in the case of crypto, it's a brand new asset class finding its place among all the existing asset classes. It's a brand new emerging asset class that's only existed for 16 years now, which in the big scheme of finance is nothing. That's practically was born yesterday. And so for it to find its way in, like, what is Bitcoin's actual value? Is it $100,000 US dollars? Is it $1 million US dollars? Well, for that to happen, we have to have volatility and swings to go up to those highs and down lows and figure out where it all equals out. And by the time Bitcoin is no longer volatile, when it's $1 million per coin, $10 million per coin, and it shifts just fractions over the course of months, it's a very stabilized asset. Well, congratulations if you're just getting at that point. You missed all the upside. You missed all the opportunity. It's over. You missed the boat. Look for the next life-changing generational wealth opportunity, because that isn't it anymore. So you want to be here now when they still have that upside. At least that's the way I view it.
Yeah, when I speak with people, to wrap things up here, when I speak with people that are stepping into a lot of consulting calls and are like, hey, is now a good time to buy this mining hardware? Or should I buy it a week or a month from now? And what I always tell people is, like, the best thing I can tell you is you should have got in yesterday. And you should have got in the day before, and the month before, and the year before. Like, there's always a better opportunity, but guess what? It's not forward, it's backward. You know, you want to have these miners, you want to be pre-established, you want to be up and mining. You don't want to wait until it's pumping again. A great example now is just with mining specifically and, like, hardware. Like, hey, are you going to buy the hardware when things are pumping and an L9 17,000, or when things are down and Dogecoin is 16 cents and those miners are down $7,000? You want the cheaper price, right? Well, then make that smart decision. So, yeah, on that note, this has been great, Andy. I appreciate you joining me today to talk about, are we in the bull run or the bear market? Folks, please leave your comments down below on everything we talked about today. We would love your opinion, your perspective. From myself and Andy, we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Sorry to interrupt your video, but check this out. I constantly get emails from the community asking me about trustworthy hosting facilities in the United States that I recommend. Well, I got you covered. Listen up. A few months back, I visited Block Ops Mining's brand new facility in Central Arkansas. The team there was super professional, knowledgeable, and everyday miners like you and I. After visiting the facility, I sent them a few of my ASIC miners for hosting and have been super happy with their service and communication. Go contact Block Ops Mining directly down below in the video description and tell them the Hobbyist Miner sent you for great pricing on miners and hosting.